All right, welcome everybody to the Business with Purpose TV. We're so excited. My co-host Chuck here and I are so excited for today's episode. It is Wednesday, April 8th, 2026. Um, so I want to welcome everybody to the Business with Purpose TV. Now, this is a show where we actually spotlight authors, entrepreneurs, members of our community, our Business with Purpose community, who are all building businesses that are aligned with their purpose. And I bet if I asked everybody if that's how you started your business, you would probably raise your hand. I ask that all the time. So I'm Sue Brooke.
And I am Chuck Casto, and I am delighted to be here. We both are. And in fact, our audience, we were talking to them before the show, got some new ideas that we're going to be rolling out in future shows. This is only our second show, folks, and the energy is very high. You might remember us from Align for Success. And yes, we're back and better than ever, but this time it's bigger than just a show, which we had last time. We're actually part of a movement now. So, along with our nonprofit, Business with Purpose, our mission is simple. We empower entrepreneurs to build businesses and lives aligned with their purpose through community, education, and personal growth. That's it, but that encompasses a lot. So if you haven't joined us yet, please come hang out with us at the Business with Purpose group on Alignable. That's really the place to be. And that's it for the intro here. Sue, take it away. Let's dive in with our new authors.
You got it. Okay, Chuck. Well, so every work, just so everybody knows, on BWP TV, we like the name of that, Business with Purpose TV. We're going to bring you stories from real hardworking entrepreneurs, and we have two amazing ones today. We're going to talk about the journey, their challenges, and I met Julie in person, so we have very similar challenges. We went through turning points in our lives. I know both of them went through that, and the moment that led them to the work that they do. So, because when your business is built with purpose, like mine, all of my businesses have been, and I'm sure yours were too, it doesn't just grow, it actually means something, right? It's not like you just got a business and you want to make money. That's not what this is about at all. So today we are kicking things off with two really good friends of mine. Actually, I've met them on Alignable. They've become good friends of mine. They're incredible guests. They're authors actually from our brand new best-selling book, Business with or Built with Purpose. Chuck is holding it up. We're super excited because we got them in our hands. Those two, I think you guys are waiting for yours to be delivered, but Chuck got his already. Julie Martin, wave Julie, and Mark Haupt. And oh, I forgot to spotlight you guys. Let me get you guys in the spotlight here so we can see everybody. Give me just a second. Let me find Julie. Oh, Chuck's holding up the book. I love it. Sorry, I don't know if might have to
My
have.
hair looks better than I thought it did. Thank you.
Oh, there she is. Okay, I'm see. I can only see this little tiny thing here, so now I gotta. Okay, I got you, Julie. Am I spotlighted? No,
We need to spotlight you
I
too,
need to
Sue.
be on here. Oh goodness. Okay, where is it? Okay, might have to have next time we'll have the co-host help us. Hi everyone. Now we're already on the screen so you can see us. Okay, so Julie, we're really excited. Both of you are excited to start this off. Julie, let's start with you. Tell us, let's just do a quick introduction with the two of us.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Chuck. You want to?
Yeah, so let's get into this. Tell us the name of your business and what you do, and give us a fun fact no one else knows here.
Okay. Well, first off, as with probably almost everybody on this or listening to it, I have a crown with many, many jewels on it. And it all started 22 years ago with I have a brick and mortar holistic spa. So I'm a licensed massage therapist. I am a Reiki master, holistic nutritionist, colon hydrotherapist. I am a life coach. So all of these things are all the jewels that fit my crown. But I am here representing my Julie Martin coaching, and it is inspiring women, specifically divorcees, to stop the generational trauma so we don't pass it on to our grandchildren, our children, and things like that. So this is my passion. I love the fact that I'm here. This is such a pleasure. A quick fun fact. When I was 22, I actually traveled to USSR. And that wasn't Russia. We're talking when Gorbachev and Reagan were meeting at the Geneva summit. I was in a hotel room in Helsinki about to take a bus into the USSR, not knowing if I was coming back. So even back
Great.
then, I had an adventurous spirit, wasn't fearful, was more excited than anything. And hey, that's life, right? So my
Yeah.
experience has really shaped my approach to a lot of things in life, people, wanting to help people, understanding people. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, that trip to USSR was amazing, amazing.
I-
That's a big deal. That was a really big deal then. I
Well,
don't know.
especially
I should pretend I don't remember that, but I do.
well,
And
and I thought about it. I was 22. I came home from work and I said, Mom, Dad, I have an option to go with some travel agents to the USSR. I'm going to be gone for 10 days and love you. Bye. No cell phone, no nothing. They had no communication with me for 10 days. So kind of
Funny.
fun.
The
All
good
right,
old days.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mark, what about you?
Hey everybody, my name is Mark Haupt, and I got to apologize up front if you hear some banging and sawing and crashing. We're getting a sliding glass door put in my buddy's condo here, so I apologize in advance. But the name of my business is Affordable Healthcare LLC, and you'll hear later how and why I got into this. But I consider myself a healthcare advisor, not an expert. I just kind of share my story with people and and just make sure that they know that there's alternatives to insurance, regular traditional insurance out there. We really like to focus on small businesses that don't offer insurance for their employees. And then we like to focus on small businesses that do offer insurance, but are paying way too much. We also love to help families out because when I quote somebody with a family of three, it's the same as if you have a family of four or five or 10. So that's really kind of cool. Um, we just went through a horrible experience with my brother. And so that's what I do now. So anyway, that's me.
and how about your
Oh,
fun fact, Mark?
Oh, my
And I
fun
know a
fact.
few of them, but I'm not telling any of them. You have to say it.
I got a new one. Years ago, years and years ago, we went to a vacation in Cancun and we come across this resort area type thing with a big trapeze. So I climbed up that ladder and I actually swung on the trapeze, let go, and of course, I was a lot smaller at the time and a lot younger, but I actually let go and somebody caught me and I swung back and I actually caught the bar back the first time. So there was a big net on the bottom, but
oh my God.
it was fun.
I need to up my blood pressure medication just listening to that story. Jesus. God love you two. Got the daredevils here. It's the daredevils. I love it.
Awesome. Well, I think they both told us who they love helping. So let's go ahead and get right into their author journey because that took. We're trying to stay on the time here so we can get all of their stories in. We've been told that everybody wants to hear stories. So here's the thing. Now, I know for my own self, becoming an author is one of the absolute fastest ways to build authority and share the heart behind your business. It's changed my life being an author in a book. So both of these wonderful people are first-time authors, my favorite to talk to. So Julie, let's start with you again. As a first-time author, tell us what inspired you to be a part of this book and what it what did the experience mean to you personally?
Well, on my dream board over here, I January 1st, I have a picture of a book. Write a book because I've always wanted to write a book so desperately. And like you said earlier, you and I, we met, I think about 2, 3 years ago. And this year we happened to meet again because the pyrotechnics were coming to town. And you and I were just sitting in the stands and you're like, Julie, I am part of this movement, and it was kismet, it was serendipitous, it was
Mhm.
everything. And I mean, I get chills with it now. I went, yes, yes, and yes. How do I sign up? How do I do this? So I've always been inspired to do a book, but to do this, knowing that it was 4 simple pages, I'm like, I can totally do it. So I was inspired by my story, but you inspired me, Sue, because you and Fran made it so simple and so easy. And I think that is what surprised me the most. It's not that I had to come up with what do I write, because this has been in my head for 10, 12, 15 years. And it just surprised me actually at how quickly I could get the words out of my head and formulate it into a beautiful story that hopefully is going to inspire at least one person. That's my goal.
Awesome. We're going to come back. I think our next question, Chuck, should be for them to tell their stories because now everybody's on pins and needles. But I do want to ask Mark the same question. What did inspire you to be in the book? What did the experience mean to you, and what surprised you most about becoming an author?
Yeah. Well, I think I've talked to a few people on here already, and for me, it all came down to a moment with my brother, and it has stayed with me forever. He was diagnosed with glioblastoma quite a few years ago, and one of the first questions I asked his oncologist was, "All right, what kind of treatments? What do we got going? You know, what's going on in the world?" And he come back and he said, well, not much is going on. I asked why, and he says, well, glioblastoma is just not popular enough, um, and we don't have a whole lot of research going on, and so and then at the same time, he says he's told me, and you know, his insurance, we have a standard protocol that we stick to. And I didn't think too much of it at the time because, you know, we were so freaked out about having to deal with what he's got to go through. So at that point in time, it felt like I was pushing a rock uphill. You know, the whole family was. We felt like we were, you know, battling not only my brother's what he's going through, but what we have to deal with the insurance. Um, and then so and of course I didn't think about it at the time, but it gave me an opportunity to take something so difficult and personal and turn it into something that could maybe help other people. So and I think through all these moments, moments like this shape us. And this one definitely shaped me. So that's uh
And
that's
here
kind of
you
why
are with
I
this
wrote this
great
story.
purpose. I mean, that's a big purpose, man. It really is. And the more you can crack the code for people, the better. That's a
Yeah.
big deal.
Thank you.
And Julie, you too. I can't wait to talk to you offline about some of the other stuff that you're doing. But we do want to get a preview of your stories. Just give enough of a taste so that people can read the rest of the stories in the book and even better, reach out to you to find out more too. So, Julie, why don't you give us a preview that gives us a little bit of a cliffhanger if you can?
Okay, well, this particular story is about my journey going through infidelity from my partner, that learning to follow the signs that God had placed in front of me, asking for signs, the interesting twists and turns and ups and downs, and the beautiful fact that it came full circle in a very pivotal moment. So I encourage everybody who's going to read my chapter, um, if you're on a cruise ship, you're going to get the most bang for your impact at the end of the story. But um, it also encouraged me is seriously, my girlfriend is going on a cruise this weekend, and she goes, "I'm not reading the book until I'm on the cruise." And I said, "Okay, when you get to my chapter, be on the balcony when you're reading my chapter." So that's a little
Oh,
cliffhanger. Uh,
juicy.
yeah. But it really, the story can be expanded into a full book because I really left it into the pivotal key moments. But again, just like Mark and I, to help someone someone to feel the way the words are reaching out to them and have them feel, I'm not alone. I am not alone. So that, I get chills, but that is a roundabout story, but it's all about following the pathway, God's messages, leads, and it ends up beautifully. And there's always more to come.
I love it.
Beautiful. Mark, how about you?
Well, yeah, as I mentioned, my story is all about my brother, centered about my brother, and at the time in my life, I really didn't understand fully the impact of what it would do for me because we were so focused on, dealing with our own emotions at the time, and in the moment 3 years ago. There was a period where I watched someone that I love, and grew up with. I mean, we were 13 months apart. We shared a bedroom up until we were in high school, you know. I watched him go through something so horrible, and I felt so helpless. And I also remember thinking, why not me? Why him? Why not me? It was just horrible. But there was again a specific time when, in the whole thing, when a statement was made, that his oncologist made, like I just mentioned, and for a long time I carried that. Honestly, I didn't talk about it much, but writing about it, writing the story, made me revisit the moment, and I realized that experience, how it shaped me, and how I deal with people now, and how I approach my business now. It just really opened my eyes. So. Um, that's how I approach my business now today.
And it's
Oh,
so
yeah.
personal too. Both stories, so personal. Again, guys, they're in this book. Okay, we're gonna have information on the book later, built with purpose. If you need to remember their pages, Mark is on page 25 and Julie is on page 45. Okay, so please
Chuck,
read their stories and reach out to them. There's a reason you're watching this now.
Yes.
and Chuck, you're the number guy, so there's got to be reasons why I'm on page number 25,
There
and the
are.
reason why Julie's on hers, right? So we're going to talk
Seven
about
and
that later.
nine. They add up to the seven and the nine. I don't make this stuff up. That's a big deal. Look, I've got chills. The hair on my
I
arms is
know.
standing up.
That's what I'm
That's a
saying.
big deal. I think I'm having a hot flash too. I don't know.
For those of you who are watching, Chuck is into numerology and he's got all kinds of things going on with him with numbers and that kind of thing. That's and more than that, but that's pretty funny. Yeah, definitely, Chuck. You'll have to put your stuff in there too. But I wanna go back to what Mark just said because this I've published. Gosh, this is my fourth compilation book that I published where I got to help a lot of authors share their story, most of them for the very first time. And I know my own experience with the first one that I did. I shared my own story. I have lots of little things close to what Julie's is, but other things. And I put some of that in my chapter as well, because I'm in the book and so is Chuck. But here's the thing Mark just said a minute ago. The biggest benefit that I found about sharing a story in especially in a compilation book with a lot of other people, and just the most important part of your story, it's a healing thing. It's not only just what Mark said, he learned something, but it's healing. I mean, it's almost like we're all carrying these stories inside of us, and some of them are not pretty stories. I remember my friend Sherry, when we first did the compilation, I created one with her, and she has a really just thinking about it, she did not have a great childhood. And when she wrote her story the first time and shared it with me, it was very surface. It didn't get into that. And when I worked with her and coached her a little bit more, and she finally dug into the parts of her story that was kind of hurtful for her to visit again, like you were talking about, Mark. But once you take that out of your body and your brain and all that stuff, and you put it on paper, and it's going out into the world for people to read and see and maybe inspire, and you could help them. Oh my God, I can't even tell you. And I know the three of you haven't experienced that fully yet because people haven't read the story, but when they do and they start coming to you, all of you are going to go, oh my God, it was the most, I don't know, but I know, Mark, you just said it, you've already experienced something like that. Julie, how about you just already I mean, it's a new book, so it's just started, but
Brand new.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I haven't experienced a lot of that yet. I've had some friends who have read it and have said that, wow, it's great, love it, to hear your story. But I had an interesting situation occur, and I won't go into details or name names, but there was an individual who was part of the story that had reached out with a text to me. And when I mentioned the text to my sister, she goes, did he read your story? So I don't know. I don't know if my daughter-in-laws or my sons referred it to this individual or what, but it was just really interesting. But again, like Mark's story, it's from your heart, it's your experience. And when I wrote this, it's nothing that I have not told anyone. This has all been in here and in my heart, and to get it out onto paper, knowing that somebody's going to read Mark's story, somebody's going to read my story, somebody's going to read Sue's story, somebody's going to read Chuck's story, and bing, the light bulb's going to go off. So I can't wait for those. I'll call them the Sherry moments, because she explained last time how somebody came up to her and went, you're the girl who wrote the book. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's amazing.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, we also want to ask, what would your advice be to people who are watching this now saying, hey, I want to be in one of those books, but I don't know if my story matters that much. We hear that and we're like, every story matters. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah. Um, I thought about that for a long time because Sue and I were talking about this a few months ago, and I just didn't think anybody would be interested, in my story. And because I didn't think, only because I was from that place of, not even wanting to deal with it anymore. Because I basically, I don't even look at the pictures anymore of when he was in the hospital, right? So, um, but it's all, I don't know. It's just sometimes I sometimes I lose it too, and I try not to, but and it's been a few years, and I still try to understand why that is, but I don't know. It just impacts me.
If it
Enough
impacts you,
to
this is a great lesson, guys. If it impacts you and your emotions, even years afterward, right? It will impact people when they're reading it and going, oh my God, Mark had to deal with that with his brother and the insurance, and those doctors weren't really paying attention to the bedside manner. I mean, so that's sort of a great example, I think, for anyone saying, well, would people really be influenced by my story? And it's like every one of these stories is influencing someone. Julie, what do you think about that?
I completely agree. And every story matters. Our stories are who we are. It has shaped us into who we are, and our strength to move forward. And just like when I wrote my chapter, though everything now is great, going back, reliving that pain, I encourage everyone watching this, tell your story.
Yeah,
Get it out of your heart, get it onto the paper. Your story matters. And like I said, my goal is, if I can change the life of one person, if I can, just by my words, if somebody else can feel like, wow, there's somebody else that went through that. I mean, how many trillion people are on this planet? How
right.
how many people? And to just affect the life of one person, please get your stories out. It is really, it's a healing process.
and Julie, for me, I realized that the experience shaped how I deal with people now and how I
Mhm,
approach my business now.
mhm.
And I had no idea that was going to happen. I didn't have a clue. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right. Don't even think for a minute that it's not worthy enough to put in print or even write it down. And that's even the start, to even write it down, right? And then read it.
And
Yep.
I have to, I mean, you just said something, both of you guys said something that it brought back a memory of me. Now my story, a lot of people know. Anyway, it was a part after I got divorced. It was a bad divorce, and then I got in a terrible car accident, and I was in a wheelchair, and I was grieving over the loss of my husband leaving me for my best friend, kind of thing. And my whole life, my whole identity was him and making him a rock star. It's a whole crazy story, but then I got in this car accident, and I was in this really bad place, and then I just remember this girl came up and someone introduced me to her, and she rolled up in a wheelchair, and uh she was not going to get out of the wheelchair. She was completely, she had been in a terrible accident, hit by a drunk driver, and she was anyway, she had this whole story, and she had this book, and she gave me her book, and it had her picture on it. It was called something like Never 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 Give Up, and it was her story about how she was this she was into sports and things like that, and then she is now paralyzed, right? And later, fast forward, I got asked to speak at a women's group, and I said, what do you want me to speak about? It was before I was a speaker. I didn't know. And I'm like, why do you want me to? Don't just tell your story. I'm like, why? I got a divorce. I got in a car accident. Big deal. Like, I didn't know. I'm like, nobody cares about that. And it was to this women's group, and I will never forget this as long as I live. I thought about that girl. It's like, well, her story's way more powerful than mine. She's paralyzed. I'm not, at least I'm walking now, right? And I got done speaking and telling my story about that, and how it just, my whole entire story. And at the end of it, I had this long line of women like crying and coming up and telling me how inspired I was. And I was so confused. I was like, what the heck? What is this? And until later on, I went, wow, it's because people can't look at someone who's paralyzed. The very few people can really even understand what that even feels like, but they know what it feels like to get a divorce, or to get in a car accident, or to lose everything, or yeah. And oh my gosh, so you just brought all that stuff back to me, Mark. Thanks for that. And I can't wait for you guys to start getting that when people are reading the story. And I want to add one more thing. You're going to get speaking engagements. You're going to get people wanting to get up and speak because you have written it in the book, and just really start working on that delivery of that story, because it's super, super powerful. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. I can't wait for all of you to experience it.
And anyone watching now, too. And hopefully
100%.
they'll see it and say, oh, geez, we do want to hear more about Mark's story and Julie's story and Sue's story and anyone else's. That's
Exactly.
one of the reasons why we're doing BWP TV.
Exactly. Now I want to jump to a little the same but a little bit different topic. So Business with Purpose is a nonprofit, and we are all about helping people with discovering and enhancing their purpose and their passion, and they started their business with that. To me, that's what makes your business successful right off the bat, right? It's all about your purpose, and I know all of us on the screen are about that. So this is interesting. We do a mastermind every single Friday, which if you aren't on it, Sherry and I do a mastermind every single Friday. We've been doing it for 6 years, and we get questions. So people come on the masterminds every Friday. Maybe Sherry can post the link in there, but people can ask questions, something that they're going through. And a few weeks ago, someone raised their hand and said, I have a question. I don't even know what my purpose is. Someone there was a conversation going on before that, and they said, well, I don't even know what my purpose is. Like, I can't answer that. And a whole bunch of people were like, me either. I don't know either. It was the craziest thing. So I want to know what you two would tell that person who raised their hand on our mastermind. It's like, how do I know what my purpose? I don't even know. Whichever one of you guys wants to go first. Julie, are you thinking? Go ahead,
Well,
jump in.
I'll be really quick. I don't know how we are on time, but
Fine, we're fine.
yeah. Well, just a quick story. When I first was going through my divorce, I was standing at a Costco pharmacist, and they're like, your prescription's $200. And I'm like, what? And they're like, I said it was $10. And they're like, yeah, well, your coverage has changed. And the humiliation, the angst, I didn't have the money, just that whole emotion really taught me you always have options in life. Okay. So you always have options. They might not be the options that you want, but you always have options. But overlay that into back at the earliest age I can remember, I was always the one in the back. Like if there was a party going on, I was the one in the back listening to somebody, just truly listening to them and hearing them and feeling what they were saying. And so overlaying those two together, moving forward through everything I've done with my business, it's truly listening to people, letting them speak, get it out of their heart, and actually, being aware of how it's affecting them, and then to gently encourage them or assist them with options to move through their journey. It's not my options, it's their options, but that is my God-given uh, uh, trait, whatever, a skill, is that I really listen intently to when people are talking to me, and I can pull out little golden nuggets of, well,
Yep.
what about this? Have you thought this? So I just overlaying them. I don't know if that's everything, but and to encourage somebody with their purpose, look back in your life and your experiences and things that you would do for free.
Ooh,
Whatever you would do for free today for the rest of your life, that's your purpose.
Yeah.
I
chills.
That that
oh,
is that's genius, Julie. That is genius because what I was going to say too is because I thought about, and it drove me nuts for a long time. What is my purpose? And with this experience, I realized it's really nothing I'm probably going to find. It's something that I've already gone through. It's the experiences that shaped me, right? A lot of times we don't even know it at the time, and like for me, it took 3 years for me to write my story down, but it could be things that you never even wished happened, that could be your purpose, and you don't even know it again at the time. So I don't know. That's for me. That was a big thing for me. Step back, and I would say this with for anybody with anything that's happened to them, take a step back and really think about how has it affected you, and can you actually turn it into a positive? So and that could be your purpose.
love
I,
that.
And it's
yeah,
the reaction, right? Oftentimes, folks, and I deal a lot with the digging in and seeing what the sole purpose is, right? I've been doing that's one of my purposes is to do that. And it's fascinating because oftentimes it's what people keep saying to you. Like, look how excited you were telling that story, or look how emotional you became, or look how excited you were that you helped somebody else and you didn't think that you could. It's those are some other clues.
Right.
I love that.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm getting chills this whole entire
Me
episode. It
too.
was just so exciting. Oh my gosh. It just brings back my own personal memories. I don't know if anybody, oh, actually, you guys who are in the room right now live, put in the chat, um, are you clear about your purpose and are you still figuring it out? Maybe share what your purpose is in the chat. It would be fun to read those as well. So let's see, let me make sure I'm going to ask all the questions I wanted to ask. Is there, okay, I don't think, Mark,
I
I don't
think
think
we
you answered this one. What inspired you to be a part of this book in the first place? What did the experience mean to you? And what surprised you most about becoming an author in this book in particular?
What inspired me? Gosh, I didn't. Hmm.
Or did
Well,
I
I
or
make
think
you,
I
who
think it was. Go ahead. Go
or
ahead,
did I
Chuck.
who.
make you do it?
Or
Sorry.
who? Yeah, yeah. I don't think it was what. It was definitely who. And again, it was really all about my brother and what he was going through and stuff. And so I just made the decision to write it down. And after I wrote it down and revised it numerous times, um, that I mean, I felt comfortable. I felt like it was gonna really be meaningful to somebody, um, because I felt good about it, right? So, um, yeah. So it just, I don't know. It just happened. I just made the decision that I'm going to do this. So, um,
That's-
I have a quick question along those lines, and I am looking at the time.
yeah.
Um, I have to ask you guys, do you feel, was there any part of it, and Sue, I want to ask you too, I've never asked you this either, where you're writing this down and you're like, oh God, what if this person reads that part? Or, oh, do I really want to say that? And I put on my sassiest Sagittarian to write this chapter. And my daughter just bought the book and just texted me right before the show, Dad, I got the book. And I'm like,
Oh,
you'll have to tell me about the chapter. She knows all about it, but some of it's been secret for a long time.
You
oh,
know,
wow.
and what a thought kind of popped in my head about, I always thought, I have to be an expert, or I have to be, know what I'm talking about. But no, I mean, I think people connect with real stories and honest situations and honest experiences. You know,
Yeah.
that's really what inspired, one reason to answer your question, Sue, is what inspired me was just, the connection that I can probably make with somebody I know have gone through the same thing I have. Because I'll tell you what, when I was told glioblastoma is not popular enough to do research, ever since that moment in time, I've known almost everyone I talk to knows someone or somebody that knows somebody that has had it. So how could it not be popular enough to do more research on? That's, and don't get me started, but that's
Unbelievable quote.
anyway.
Unbelievable. Yes.
Wow. No, let's keep going with Chuck's question. It's like just to say, so I told you, my husband, that whole thing was a huge part of it because I gave up everything to make him a rock star. He was a musician. I gave up my entire identity. And when I started writing that story down and I did it in the book, I created this series called The Discover Your I, and it was identity. I literally gave him the book and thanked him in the I signed it and said thank you for helping me create this my new life in this story, something like that. And it might
Mm,
have jabbed him just a little bit, but it was like, thank
sassy.
you. I
Yep.
thank you for all the blankety blank you put me through, but you know what, I'm good now, I'm a rock star. It was like, and that was so
Hmm.
healing. It was like, and it was just a chapter of it. I don't know, Julie, I know you were starting to tell a little bit about it
Yeah,
earlier.
Go
no,
for it.
it's along the same lines like that, and the full circle of everything. But when I was writing it, I was a little apprehensive, going, not apprehensive. I felt actually released. I
Wow.
Hmm.
felt released because this has been in my heart and my head for so long that this was my truth. And this is what, and I was not a slasher and dasher in my story, but it was out of respect and just saying, this is what the steps happened, the journey, it was my journey. And it's actually more of a standing up strong and proud and saying, yes, that was my journey and I own it. And it was my truth and I own it. And I get so chilled because the moving forward, there's more to the story, and I'm not gonna say it because I want
Yeah,
to write
don't say
more and more.
more. You
No,
have to read it, folks.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, but it's just the way that my life is now. I don't even recognize my life back then.
Oh, me either.
No,
Yeah. When you and I started talking, because we connected, and I think we were sisters. Chuck, you have to find out if we were
Yeah,
sisters
you were
in another
definitely
life or something.
sisters in a past life. I
I
don't need to be psychic to know that. So,
think we were, but we have so many similarities. But I know we're looking at time here, and I'm just, I don't know, Chuck. Are you just got chills too from this?
I
You
am
feel
just
like,
loving
go
that
ahead.
we have these two together in this episode.
There's a
They
reason.
complement each other so beautifully. Mark, if I was right next to you, man, I would have hugged you halfway through your thing. I was feeling it, and I was just like, I'm gonna give him a little time, but then I'm gonna reach in and I'm gonna be like,
Thanks,
because it's
Chuck.
very emotional. I mean,
Thanks,
these are
Chuck.
very emotional. And even as I look at my chapter again, I'm like, wow, you really put all that in print. Like I'm feeling released, but I'm also a little like, well, you know what? You did it and I've been working on another book for 10 years, and I previewed that in this chapter to force me to finish that. And that's Vinny, Keep Your Pants On, and Other Heavenly Love Notes.
Ah!
Okay, that's what it
Who
is.
doesn't want to, who doesn't want to read that? That was a cool book.
I love it.
You know what?
Love it.
I'm glad you brought that up, Chuck, because many people, and like I said, this is my fourth time publishing a compilation book like this with multiple authors. Most of the authors that write this chapter say, I'm not a writer. I don't want to write a book. And they're just like this, but they're like, okay, I'll just put a chapter. A lot of those authors end up taking that and going, great, I'm going to write my whole book, which I hope you all will do. And we actually, for Business with Purpose Publishing, part of our nonprofit is the publishing department, which is me and my friend Fran. And we are going to be doing some cool new full books that everybody will have access to being a part of. So before we go, and we still have a little bit of time here, but I want to know, Chuck, are we ready? Is there any more questions before we ask him to tell everybody where to find?
I think these guys took over and did their own thing, and it's terrific. It was fantastic. I think we got that. I'm looking at the comments in here. We've got Steve saying he knew his purpose early on to help people, and he certainly is. Steve, great to see you here today, by the way.
Yeah.
I owe you a call. We need to chat. And I probably owe everybody a call here, actually. But and let me see what else we got. We got Jennifer had written something beautiful here. When you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. Yes, helping pets and people. Yes, pets in
Love it.
particular, but the people that are loved by pets too. Let's throw that in there.
Yes, and by the way,
Um,
she's an author in our book and will be interviewed, I believe, toward the end of the month. So make sure you guys register for all of the upcoming episodes. Just go to the Business with Purpose group, go to the BWPTV and register for all the upcoming ones and put it on your calendars because we have some amazing interviews coming up. So definitely that. I want to make sure you two get to a chance to tell how to reach you and how to
right.
connect with you. And maybe you can even put like a link to whatever your website or your alignable profile or whatever you want to put in the chat. But Mark, go ahead. We'll tell everybody how to connect with you.
Yeah, I can. My email, you can connect
Just put it
email,
in the
telephone.
chat. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just put it in the chat, but yeah, email, chat. I got a new website thanks to Chuck's recommendation that I should spend some money and launch this year. So that's
Ooh,
kind of it's still in works though, but it officially launched.
all
So
right.
I got some changes to make on it, but that's and it's all about educating, folks out there what healthcare, what's going on with healthcare and that there are alternatives,
And
so
share your story and put your book in there. You better
yeah,
have it.
absolutely.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
look.
And I'm going to link this, but yeah, so I'll put all my information in the chat, email, website, phone number.
Awesome.
Oh,
Jill.
yes. Well, I'm unalignable as Julie Martin, the Happy Holistic Coach. On Facebook, Julie Martin, and I have my website is meetjuliemartin.com. And so if anybody wants to go on there, they can, my contact information is on there, and I'm really bad at typing in the chat. So if anybody wants to type into the chat for me, I'd appreciate it because I get fumble fingers and it'll look like goober gobble. It'll look like I'm back in the USSR and I'm not.
Oh, who's gonna sing that song? Back
In the USSR. But no, I'm yeah, just and I'm on the Built with Purpose, alignable and all that. So please reach out. And what I really, not only women who have gone through divorce and children and all that, but if you have that girlfriend that just can't quite make it through the divorce, she's just stuck. I'm awesome with that. So send them my way. Yeah.
I love it. And lastly, let's see if any of the two of you have any last minute I don't know, advice or anything with anybody else that would like to be in a future book, just to let everyone know, we have lots of books ready for new authors. We're doing one that's getting already starting to fill is the women business owners. That one will probably do 20 volumes. We know women, right, Julie? We're going to have to do 20 or 100 volumes of the women business owners, but we're also doing one for pet business owners. Jennifer, who was typing in the chat, we're working out something where we already have an author for the pet business owner book. We have one for reinvented entrepreneurs. How many of us have reinvented? I don't have enough arms to hold up my hands.
Every day. Yep.
Every day. And reinvented, let's see what else. And RV entrepreneur. We have a lot more coming up.
The RV entrepreneurs.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
We have one ready to go for that. So Mark, you can see you're gonna have to be in that one too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
So hey,
go ahead.
Sue, real quick, I just got to say, I think I kind of mentioned it earlier too, but I think we all have moments that shape who we become. Sometimes we just don't realize it at the time until and then figure out the meaning until later. That's the biggest thing that I've learned and want people to take away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead, Julie.
I would just say, be you unapologetically. Be you unapologetically. Your story is beautiful. It is who you are. It is what has shaped you and is continuing to shape you. Do it. Just do it.
All right. And if someone out there in our chat, can you put where people can find the book? And businesswithpurpose.org/publishing is where you can find the new books coming up if you want to be one of our next authors. We're just so excited. This is our very, very first one in our series, and the series is going to be around for a long time. I want you to think about this too. These two are just so amazing. And I just want to tell you, when you write in a book and you have a book, this is in perpetuity. This is forever. It's not like you're investing in something that's going to go away tomorrow. It's out there forever. It's like I teach people that it's not only a place to share your story and get it out, all the wonderful things that we talked about, but for business owners, it's a marketing tool, and it is the best marketing tool ever. I have 2 books here. I wish I could do that from
just hand it out. Yep.
Yeah. I did one on networking with heart. I'm teaching people how to network. These books are out there forever, and it's the best marketing tool. So Chuck's holding up our exciting book that we're all in. So just remember that when you're with your business. And the last couple of things, make sure you're in the Business with Purpose group on Alignable. Really, really important. We are already starting to add more events in there. More and more events are going to be in there. In fact, next Monday, and actually every Monday, Fran Jesse, my partner in publishing these Built with Purpose books, we just scheduled this just now, so it's new. It's why you should become a published author, how it's the best marketing tool, and we're going to show you all the things from the things you could do with your book, like the 2 of you just for fun. See, I haven't even told you guys all this. I'm gonna have
That's
to
cool.
Here's a fun one. You ready for an outside the box one? I can take this book, you can take your book, and I've done this before with another book I had. You can go into a bookstore or even in an airport, or whatever, where it says best-selling books in the bookstore, and just put your book there. Take a picture of it by the #1 bestseller, or put it by Tony Robbins or wherever you want, and leave it there. And here's what happens. And this literally happened, you guys. I did this in a Barnes and Noble a long time ago with one of my first books. And I stepped away and I saw somebody come around and they picked up the book and they went to buy it. And I had just left it there. And what happens is the bookstore will go, "Oh, we don't have that in there. How can we order more?"
Oh,
And then here's one more funny one. Sherry told this the other day that they're on airplanes a lot. So they just take a bunch of books, and when they're leaving, they stick them all in the pockets. And they've actually gotten speaking engagements, clients, all kinds of stuff, because the next people that sit there are like, "Oh, what's this?" And they
actually, Sue, there have been 18 movies done by this author who has 65 books, leaving them in airplanes.
Amazing.
Movies. There's movies out there. The Ultimate Gift is one of them with James Gardner.
That's amazing.
And on top of it, guys, and this is coming out soon, and Sue knows this, I have come up with a couple of courses for the authors and future authors of coaching that will really help you get the right PR and really jazz things up. So those are coming very soon. I did already write them up and send them to Sue. So we're going to send that out to the authors. And also we'll have some other coaching sessions too. But you know, there are other ways of doing it too. And I can tell you a few secrets along those lines. So
Yeah.
Well,
So
we really appreciate you guys,
Well,
you
you
and
guys are
Fran and Chuck. Oh my
amazing.
gosh, absolutely, right, Julie?
This
It's incredible.
community is just off the charts,
Yeah,
off
yeah,
the charts.
so sweet to
Led by
see.
heart,
agree,
led by
agree.
heart.
thank you guys so much for being here. And yeah, you know, when you become an author in Built with Purpose books, we don't just go, okay, you're an author, see you later, good luck. No, we have a private authors group. We're going to be networking next week, by the way. We have only, and you get to network and build relationships with all the authors that continue to be in all of our books. So we're not leaving you out to dry. We're with you
Mm-mm.
forever. So you get a whole community of people. So anyway, last minute things. Let's, I know, Chuck, last
I
minute.
think I think we covered most of it, and I almost feel like people are like their heads are probably spinning at this point. Just remember, guys, get the book off of Amazon. Okay, I'm just going to say that because you will be inspired by many of these stories. But you know, you'll look at the stories and you'll be like, "Oh my God, what Mark went through! I went through that," and
Or you know someone
wow.
that you could send the book to. That's what it's like. Oh my gosh, you know, like Mark, I know his story. It's like, okay, I know someone else going through that. I can send him that way too, for sure.
Right, and the proceeds go to um,
Business with
business with
purpose.
purpose.
Yes, they do.
So that's even better. So funding more of these things, funding more things to help small business owners, to help kids who want to be entrepreneurs, to help seniors who want to, you know, chapter 4 in their lives, you know, whatever. So please keep that in mind. And there are so many great stories in here. I've only read half of them, so I need to sit down and read more of them too. So please go to Amazon, grab them. They're also really inexpensive, high value, high value. So keep that in mind. And we just want to thank everybody for being here today. We let you can tell Sue and I love doing this, and you guys as guests, you guys were fantastic. I can't wait to bring you guys back around after we do more of the
I
other
know.
authors too, because you two just you know what it was? You showed your emotion. You showed your emotion. And that's what this is about.
Yeah,
Show your emotion so other people can
very
learn
true.
from it and feel validated. That's what
Yeah.
it is. But so I just wanted to say goodbye to everybody because our time is ticking away pretty fast. And really, you know, just remind everyone of what business with purpose is all about. Real people, okay? We don't have any phonies here. Let's put it that way. We're too busy to be phonies, right? Real people, real stories, real impact. And you heard about two of the stories here. You've heard the cliffhangers, both very good cliffhangers, by the way, guys. And go out and get the book and think about your story and see where you could fit into our future books.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to be a part of the community, go to the Business with Purpose group on Alignable for sure. You can go to businesswithpurpose.org, our website, to find about books and all kinds of other things. You can become an author. You can even be featured on this show. We do have a Business with Purpose membership. It's only a little bitty $27 a month. You get to be every single week in a private group also and have all kinds of things Sherry runs that group, and you also have a chance to be interviewed on this show. So that's pretty exciting. So we will see everybody back here next week at the same time in the same place on BWP TV. So have a great day. Thank you guys again for being here. You're absolutely amazing. Best interviews ever. Thanks, Chuck.
Really
Thank
terrific.
you.
Thank you, Sue.
Thanks,
Everybody,
everyone.
we love you. Please
Thank you.
join us. Same time, same bat channel next week. Okay.
All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye all.
everyone.